weather's a big deal. In my profession, everything's sort of wrapping up at work. So I'm not doing, 10 or 12 or 14-hour days anymore.
Male exotic dancing is 24/7, 365. What are you talking about?
A man has to have his limits on everything, and I tell my boss,
I respect you having boundaries.
I'm only going on stage 3 times a night. I don't care what you say. Nothing after 2 a.m., buddy.
And here we go. Time for another edition of Cash's Top 5, which is kind of a misnomer today. We have a special episode of Cash's Top 5. This has been years in the making. Again, another episode we've been waiting on. I've got my Uncle Phil joining us today. What's up, dude?
Howdy.
Hey, man. So we're doing something special today. We're not doing a top 5. We've done lots of those so far. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to rank our favorite months of the year. Because if there's one thing we like to do, it's something completely arbitrary and random and then argue it.
Fact.
So when we were talking about doing this, you said it took you probably 4 or 5 iterations to finally lock it in. I still don't know that I've got a locked in 12, to be honest with you. I've been going back and forth on some of these picks, but you think you've got it where you've got it set in stone.
Yeah, when you texted me this, evening time, sitting there, my wife Christy sitting next to me, and I was just like, all right. So I wrote them out January to December, and I got to looking at them, and I went, all right. So did a first run through, had some arrows pointing here, pointing there, and I was like, third run through, we talked about it a little bit. Fourth run through, I texted you back 22 minutes later. I'm done. They're set in stone. I would not trade any of these. So, yeah.
Now, question
and
for you.
I'll tell you, it really reveals a lot about yourself when you do this. Like who you are, how you live, what you think. I mean, I was like, holy cow, this really is how I think about things. So,
yeah, well, that's what I found too. Now, did you approach it from like how much did you let nostalgia creep in? Like, is this Uncle Phil today? Like this is, how you feel right now in this moment, or did you allow some of your lifetime to creep into some of your picks? Like, do you have a nostalgic feeling for a particular month where you're like, you know what, I have such good memories attached, or it was always so good to me. It may not be necessarily that important of a month now, but it always was. How much did you let that factor in?
Really, there was a lot of nostalgia on my top picks and on my bottom picks too. The ones in the middle are like, they're just in the middle,
Yeah.
And, but even though my nostalgic favorites in my top, they matched my current favorites too. How I lived when I was a kid, things we did as a family, stuff we do now.
Okay.
And so the top has carried through. What has changed is the bottom. And if you remember, because I have a horrible memory, if you remember to ask me why, I'll tell you why that's changed the older I get. Why the bottom has sunk to the bottom that it is.
Well, I think
but great question. Yeah.
For that reason, I think we're going to do a reverse this time. Instead of starting with number 12 and working our way up to number 1, I think we're going to start with our favorites, and then it'll just be more fun to devolve into madness of why we hate 30 days on a calendar.
We will loose our venom on the bottom feeders.
That's when everybody starts crying. We never talk to each other again. Like, I hate you.
You're terrible. And this is all the reasons why.
Yeah. You don't like April? Really? Okay. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Our number 1 favorite month. We're going to go down to 12. Phil, what's your number 1?
My number 1, I honestly didn't even need to think about. Even my first run through, I knew it was number 1. And man, without question or pause, it's October.
Okay.
In October, you've got the humidity drops off outside. I should preface this with I live on a 24-acre farm with my wife, no kids. And this is the farm I grew up on since I was 7. Okay. I know you know this stuff, Adam, but this is for the rest of the YouTube world.
Sure.
And, so we're outside 7 days a week, outside doing all sorts of stuff. And, so weather is a huge dependent on that. And so when the humidity drops off and, you start putting jackets on and having bonfires in the evenings, come on, you're not going to do better than that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd live that way 365 if I could. And, you can't hear, but, I hear those other places that live like that. But I'm not moving. So,
yeah.
But yeah, also, 3 miles from me is a small historic town that I won't mention because I don't want you people knowing where I live. And every year in October, they have their historic reenactment and all sorts of festival type thing, and it's every October. Then to cap off the end of the month, you have Halloween to cap it off, and that has changed a lot in my lifetime. Where it's gotten a lot more big deal now than it ever used to be. It used to just be a bunch of little kids in plastic, stinking ass plastic, horribly made costumes, and now there's it's practically cosplay when you go to a party. And there's people you're like, man, that sort of looks like so and such, but they put their makeup on for 6 hours. So, I mean, you kind of have everything. The temperatures get better, the humidity goes away, that all the festivals and Renaissance festivals and all that stuff goes on. It's not as rainy in the spring, but you get the same temperatures. I don't know. If you could beat October, I don't know how you'd do it. So at least for where I live in my undisclosed state,
Sure. Yeah, that's a strong number one. I mean, there were leading contenders for both, for best month and for worst month for sure. My number one is really close to yours. Mine is September. I've got September at number one.
Really?
Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons, to be honest. It's jacket weather usually. Now, it can stay warm into September, which I kind of like because the humidity does start to go away, I think even earlier than October. But you've got bonfire season. You've got the leaves starting to change. I mean, fall is really coming into play. It's not too dark out yet. It still stays light fairly well. And another big reason is football. I mean, you've got college football is back. You've got the NFL kicks off the first week of September. There's nothing that really takes away from it. Now, again, we're splitting hairs here. I mean, my number 3 could be my number 1. My number 2 could be my number 1. But there's just something about, and I approached as much as I could in the now, like, me now, how do I feel about the months? And a lot of it is, like you said, weather dependent and time dependent,
Yeah.
You really have to think about how you can parse your time and see the people in your life and do the things you want to do. And knowing I've got that 3-day weekend, Labor Day weekend is in September. That's a popular time to get together with friends. The weather, the vibe.
That's always been our family reunion too.
Yeah, family reunions.
Especially as a kid when they were way more fun.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. So September, my number 1.
Strong one.
Yeah. What do you got at number 2?
Number 2 is it's the same as October, but slightly cooler, and there's turkey dinner.
Okay.
With friends and family coming over. Yeah, November is my number 2. And my number 2 and my number 3, those two are almost interchangeable, except Thanksgiving. November has Thanksgiving. In November, you are not going to have a hot you're not going to have a hot weekend. It's going to be cool. The weather, yeah, the weather's a big deal. In my profession, everything's sort of wrapping up at work. So I'm not doing, 10 or 12 or 14-hour days anymore.
Male exotic dancing is 24/7, 365. What are you talking about?
A man has to have his limits on everything, and I tell my boss,
I respect you having boundaries.
I'm only going on stage 3 times a night. I don't care what you say. Nothing after 2 a.m., buddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, work is 8 and skate, and also one of the things that I failed to mention in October, which also applies to November, is this is a farming area where I live, and so everyone is harvesting. Everyone everywhere is doing their last cuttings of hay. They're doing their soybeans, they're doing their corn, and all this kind of stuff. And man, the nostalgia. I'm that dude that pulls over on the side of the road and does a video of a combine coming toward me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that is awesome. And it's the only time of the year you can do that, and the smell of the corn and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, man, there's a lot of nostalgia. There's only one home. So,
Sure.
So yeah.
I think you'll be surprised. November's a little low on my list.
Really?
Yeah. And not for any malevolent reason. I don't have anything against it, but I just feel like there were other months that stacked up, but we'll get to that.
All right.
My number 2 for you is probably the opposite, of my number 1, but for the same reasons, just the other side of the same coin kind of thing. But my number 2 is the month of May. It's probably the best weather of the year. I know allergy sufferers don't look forward to the spring, but I luckily don't get hit too hard with the allergies very much.
Right.
Yeah, the month of May is just sunshine. I mean, the month of May, especially, and I live in Indianapolis. So the Indy 500, which I'm not a huge racing guy, but there is just a vibe. There's a vibe in the Circle City that everybody just seems to be in a good mood. Everything's kind of waking up. It's green. The flowers are blooming. Yeah. And there's some nostalgia to that. Both my mom and my sister have their birthdays in the month of May, which is always a time for us to get together. And that's always a good time. Memorial Day weekend. Again, just like Labor Day weekend, there's Memorial Day weekend that, I know you have lots of tradition in that month at that time of the year. That's usually the time you can get together with friends. Cookouts. I mean, May is the month you fire up the grill where it's in full use, not just, it's a day where it's not snowing so we can sneak a cookout.
Or raining 4 inches in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. The rain is, we'll get to that. The spring, the rains have mostly gone through. I don't know. Right. Yeah, the month of May, to quote one of my all-time favorite movies, Shawshank Redemption, when Andy and Red and the boys are up on tarring the new roof on top of the building. There's just nothing like working outside with a bucket of suds. May is one fine month to work outdoors.
Speaking of nostalgia, man.
Yeah, some nostalgia creeped in for that one for sure.
Well, sure. That's the things you observe as life goes on, man. That's who we are. We're humans.
Yeah.
So excellent. Yeah, you didn't talk me into moving it up a space, but but I like that I put mine as high as I did now.
Sure. What's your number 3?
My number 3, once again, is cool weather. End of year is September. And,
I thought May would be in your top 3. I'm really surprised. I'm not surprised because I know how much you love fall, but to have them run it 1, 2, 3. But sorry, go ahead. September's your number 3.
Yeah, we just kind of went over September, and you're right. It's and when I was younger, going back to your thing of is this who you were? Is this who you are? There was nothing quite like that feeling of riding somewhere in your old pickup truck and dad puts on the IU game, the IU football game.
Yep.
And you're right. Those are September, those are the September memories, or your sister comes home from IU for a weekend, and and things like that. Those are September things, and yeah, you got the great weather and all that kind of stuff, and oh yeah, September bonfires, jackets, all that kind of stuff, hanging out with friends.
Well, and not something that's not necessarily weather dependent for the month of September. Also, me, I'm a huge movie guy, love movies. There's usually 2 or 3 times of year where you're really looking at the new releases. And September is a really big month for, I'm not saying the Oscar nominees are always the best pictures of the year, because sometimes they're kind of not. They're pretty boring and overrated. But there are some really, really good movies that come out. The studios target that time because that's kind of the sweet spot for Oscar voting. So a lot of those fall releases, like that's when you're going to get your No Country for Old Men's, your There Will Be Bloods, that September timeline is like, that's when they have the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. That's when the gears start really cranking. So like, don't get me wrong, I love me some June and July summer blockbusters. You can kind of turn the logic cap off and just enjoy the dumb fun.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're wanting a really good movie to kind of wash over you, September is a great month to head to the theater.
I didn't even tie those two things together. I didn't know that was a time of the year type thing. I mean, I guess I knew that a lot of those Oscar contenders were backloaded toward the end of the year, so they would be better in contention for the voting.
Yeah, they're top of mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those ones that come out in January, you're like, didn't that thing come out 3 years ago? What? How's that up for an Oscar now? Like, oh man, that came out last winter. You're like, well, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, it's rare that one of those can pull it off. Like Silence of the Lambs, I believe, was either a January or a February release. And
really?
It's still best picture, best actor, best actress,
strong,
best director. Yeah, it was that strong of a movie.
Yeah.
All right, we're starting to devolve into another podcast. Sorry, let's rein it back in.
Tell me more about Anthony Hopkins.
So you know what I love about movies is no. So my
Top
number
5
3,
Anthony Hopkins movies.
Yeah, my number 3 for you is one that is, it seems like we're pretty weather dependent, but my number 3 is your number 1. And it's October.
Yeah.
Now, had I made this list 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, I feel like October would have been number 1. But at 32, the friends are all kind of married and having kids of their own. The Halloween weekend just does not have the gusto it used to. That was always my favorite time of year. Favorite holiday, if you consider it a holiday. But house parties, everybody dressing up, everybody going out. I mean, that was one of those weekends where, you have 52 weeks a year, and there's probably a handful of them that are like locked into the calendar. Like, this weekend we are doing this. And doesn't matter what comes up, this is what's happening. And Halloween weekend was always one of those. We're getting dressed up. We're having people over. We're going to, party. Unfortunately, it is what you make it. If you want to continue that, you can. It's not as easy for some people. It's got my birthday, so that's always fun. That's a good time. And there's bonfires, but it starts to get a little darker. It starts to get, especially here in Indiana, it's fall for like 3 days and then it's super cold all of a sudden. And I feel like that transition happens in October. But that said, October just means, fall festivals, apple orchards, football. Again, I love football season. There's nothing quite like bundling up, sitting in the student section, hearing the band, in the stands, the drum line. I mean, just that feeling of, being a teenager again, being in college again. And also being real, again, time being a factor, fall break.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher now. So October means 2 weeks off, and which probably could have ranked it a little higher, but that tells you just how much I love September and May.
Yeah. Excellent. I like it. Yeah, you can't sell me enough on October, man.
Oh, yeah. So we've got October, November, September.
Yeah.
I feel like we're reading like a local news ratings book. Like we've got the fall sweeps are over. Now what are we gonna do?
Now what?
What do you got at number 4?
My number 4 is I think it was your number 2 or 3 is May. And for all the reasons you said, and to me, the primary one when I lived around Indy was the vibe around race weekend. And it's really the race month. You and I both, pretty much most people I know, if you grew up in Indiana, which I'm not necessarily in Indiana now. You grow up with Bob and Tom, whether you know it or not, because the jokes your friends are telling you is stuff they probably heard there, the songs that they play for you that are the naughty little songs those guys do or whatever. And those guys every single day are 6 a.m. to 10. And every day in the month of May from 10 to like 10:30, they have race car drivers, retired race car drivers, all those people. And then they broadcast from the track and all that kind of stuff. And so it builds all month to Memorial Day weekend. And so, yeah, it's everywhere, in all the gas stations, all the billboards, it's the greatest spectacle in racing, so yeah, there was that. I don't live up there anymore. And, so I don't get that vibe as much, but now what I have is my friends and we've been doing the Memorial Day weekend. It started as camping, tent camping, and then it went to like family cabin renting. The wimpier we got, the older we got, the more ache and pain we got, then we rented out an enormous cabin, with, pool tables in it, and so, and now I have the farm here. And so everybody just comes and stays with Christy and I. So it has evolved over, oh man, it's going on 25 years now that we've done this. Yeah. And we've only missed a couple where people's health concerns, were a problem. So that long-standing tradition in May is a big deal, and we just had it, and everybody was here, and it was a good time, and we had the coldest Memorial Day weekend in 18 years here. But hey, man, that's just more wood on the bonfire outside to me, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Anytime you have bonfire weather, I'm in.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get to have those long in-person conversations when your friends are at your house for 3 days. That's good stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, everything that's going to bloom has bloomed by May. You get your really early ones in March, and then the rest of the trees come in by April or whatever. But in May, everything's bloomed. People have already mowed a couple times. Everything is brand new, and it really is a beautiful month.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Which kind of segues into my number 4 for you, for a lot of those same reasons. My number 4 is June. Yeah. And when I think of the month of June, I think of mowed grass, which is one of my favorite smells in the entire world.
Oh yeah.
Again, allergies don't bother me. I'm sorry. You can punch me later if you want.
I don't have any either.
But it's not too hot yet. It stays light out longer. Summer solstice, the longest day of the year is in June. School's out. there's just a lot of freedom attached to the month of June. I feel like if you were to go back and look on the highlight reel of your life, you can watch the tape back. A lot of those nights where you're on a back county road hurtling through the night with the windows down and the music blaring, and maybe there's a pretty little girl next to you in the passenger seat. Month of June is where a lot of that takes place, man. It's not too hot. It's not too cold.
Yeah.
It's summertime. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about June that there's the possibility, you know, if you have the type of job where you can take vacation, usually you can take it in the month of June. If you're on summer break, you have no obligations. I don't know. I feel like a lot of good things happen in the month of June.
Oh yeah. And you don't have the unbearable July and August heat kick in yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we really sound like a couple old fuddy-duddies talking about, well, the weather's good, so I kind of like that one. But it
I live it
dictates your
every
life.
day.
Yeah.
It does. The older you get, the more it dictates your life too. You know, it's a minor inconvenience as a kid because you'll play in the rain. I ain't playing in the rain anymore. You know, that's raining. Get in the damn house. You know, or I go do work in my barn or whatever. But yeah, from 5:30 in the morning till that night, I'm looking at the weather. So
we finally snuck into the spring for you. We're starting to get into that middle period where it's like, well, I guess this is where I'll stick this month. What do you have at number 5?
My number 5 is more spring, and I'm sticking it here, and that's April.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. See, to me, April, the old adage, man, April showers bring May flowers.
Let me stop you right there. Right there. April showers.
Yeah.
It rains the whole damn month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I hate it so much. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I know what you mean by that, and you're right. But you have that is the downside, and that's why mine is hanging out in the middle. We're at number 5. We're one shy of halfway there.
Right.
There's still a lot of plus. April is one of the first months where you're getting out of winter. You're getting out of those winter doldrums, and the year could be anything. You know, it could just go any direction. It's a lot of things are blooming. You are getting a lot of rain, but you're also, when it's not raining anyway, for me, I'm starting up pieces of equipment that haven't run all winter. I'm doing spring maintenance. I'm running around the farm and doing all sorts of stuff like that. Plus all of my jobs, they all kick off on April 1st. That's when asphalt plants open up, concrete companies start making concrete again. All of the jobs that we do let in April. And so this is what the next year or 3 of my life is going to be. And you find out in April. And that's my whole career there. So in April, you find out kind of who you're going to be working with, what contractors you're going to be working with, people you're going to see, things you're going to do, stuff you're going to learn. So April's got, for my farm and my career, it's got a lot going on in it. So
I'm going to use, and you're going to love this. This is my favorite new passive aggressive thing that I hear people use. And if it's old, I apologize, but I've just recently heard it.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
I love that for you.
It's such a subtle slap in the face. I love that for you.
Right. Oh man, that is so Karen. See, that's what Karen says when she's talking to like her other Karen friend. And they're neighbors, so she can't really overtly piss them off like she can the cashier. So she still has to get it in. She has to let that little pressure valve go a little bit. I got to get some bitch out. I got to just let out a little bit of bitch.
Yep, it's a little release.
It's a little release of bitch from Karen. I love that for you. Oh man, I can't wait to break your nose if you ever use that on me, for real. It's gonna feel good. Feel my little bone snap under my hand. That's gonna be great. Yeah.
Sure.
I love that for you.
I love that. I love that for you. That's great. Hate
That's
April,
funny.
but that's, you know what? That's okay.
Right. All right. That was my 5. That was my April. My rainy month you hate. What's your number 5?
I can't wait for you to dish it right back to me. My number 5 is March.
Why would I dish it back? That's not bad.
Well, it's similar to your. I just don't, and I know it rains throughout the spring. This is basically a meteorology podcast.
Well, that's how we live.
But the month of March is finally, there's such a release. There's such a relief of the winter gray is finally starting to go. Gray. March can be gray. March can be cold. I get that. But the sun starts to peek through just a little more. Things start to open up. And again, circumstances in life. Again, 10 years ago, St. Patty's Day, even if it was a damn Wednesday, you were taking the day off work, you were getting together with friends, you were, mucking it up. But also in the month of March, you get spring break, which is always a good time. If you're road tripping with friends down to Daytona, or you're doing whatever, you got some time off from school or from work. And I can't help it. It's my Hoosier roots. March Madness, man. It's one of my all-time favorite times of the year. The tournament, especially this past year when the entire thing was held in Indianapolis. And huge JW Marriott, that gigantic glass building, had the bracket.
The bracket. Yeah.
It's just so much fun. There's betting. Like I have a bet with a former teacher who's now a coworker of mine, Salemi. He and I have bet a pizza on the tournament. We both fill out our brackets this is the 18th year we've done it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, there's you and your wife's birthday, which is always a good time. I always seem to find my way getting to the family farm around that time. I don't know. March, there's just something about that month that even though it can be a little dark still, a little rainy, a little cold, fun stuff happens. I like it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's my number 6.
Yeah, there we go.
I was like, let's just keep this going. Let's keep the March love going, baby.
Yeah.
For all those same reasons. And there's so many. When I think of March, you're right. We just got out of the gray February. As soon as March 1st hits, it dawns on me. My birthday's in 10 days. It doesn't dawn on me until I see somebody say, hey, it's March 1st. And I'm like, oh, hey, my birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
And there's a dozen birthdays in this family in March, So June is, I guess, when we like to, you
got to celebrate that summer solstice, man.
That's right. Longest day of the year. Yeah. Let's, do it. Anyway, for pretty much all the reasons you said too. You get out of wintertime. The earliest things are budding on the trees and that sort of stuff. And if you want to go way back, old nostalgic, was your better weather clothes that you got for Christmas that you had to wait to wear. I don't know,
man. That's a throwback. Yes,
that's a huge throwback because you're like you got tons of clothes as a kid for Christmas and your birthdays and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't, and of course, everybody always showed up, after the new year at school with all their new clothes on. But some of the stuff was like, well, this is more of a spring, and so you waited 3 months to wear that crap, and then you finally get a chance to, and you're like, oh, look at this shit. So, there's that. There's all those sorts of things that that beautiful spring gives you.
Did I ever tell you that annoying thing about me about getting new clothes when I was a kid?
What's that?
The going against the grain runs deep, and I don't know why. But
Yeah.
anytime, because it was like a known thing that after the holiday break or after your birthday, that's when you got new clothes. And so
Sure.
I'd get new clothes for my birthday. I would wait a week or two to wear it because I didn't want people to think I was that excited about wearing my brand new clothes that soon after my birthday. And I have no idea why.
Wow, man, that is next level crazy right there.
Yeah. And when people tell me I should, go see a therapist, and I'm like, nah. And then I remember things like that. I'm like, yeah, probably should.
You might have a point, because there's this crazy shit I used to do.
Yeah.
Oh wow, man.
I'd be like,
So
no, that's how, I don't know. Is that narcissism or
no, that's
self?
narcissistic paranoia is what that is,
Yeah.
buddy.
They're going to know that I got
Right.
these clothes for my birthday. So I'm going to wait. So they're not going to think. Yeah. I mean, I grew out of that. I don't think I have that. I don't really exhibit that behavior anymore, but
Right.
yeah, well, this got deep. All right. So,
so more about March.
man, I love that for you, and I hate that for me.
Yeah, that's different. What you just said there.
little different. I feel
That's a little different.
like we've all grown. Okay. So,
Yeah.
my number 6 for you
Yeah.
is December.
December that high, really?
Yeah, and I get it, especially because it's, we've talked so much about not liking the super hot or the super cold weather.
Right.
But December is just too steeped in nostalgia for me to ignore. And it's
Sure.
and it's not completely devoid of fun now. Like it's not like it's all the good is in the past, but all the family moments, all the, there's Christmas, again, time in school, work, that's usually when you could take a lot of time off of work. I'm a teacher now, so I've got 2 weeks blocked off for winter break towards the end of December. It's a little darker out, but I feel like especially the latter half of my life, maybe when I was a kid, I didn't really notice it because you don't really pay attention. You don't really notice that there's an outside world beyond you until you're like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But I feel like the snow and ice and stuff doesn't really hit until January, February. December is cold, but it's not that bone chilling cold. And you might get some flurries. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a super duper white Christmas. So there's still the opportunity for bonfires, but I just, that's when you can sit around with your fam, watch old movies. There's all the good food in the holiday season, all the crap you shouldn't eat, but you do. And there's just something in my mind that, and I don't know if it's like a comfort thing, but the night before Christmas Eve night is always the best sleep of the year. It's really the one time a year where you don't have to get up early, you don't have to set an alarm, you're full of cookies and hot cocoa and ham or whatever. And I just picture there's the Christmas tree, my dad in his chair, my mom knitting, my sister hanging around, and then we all kind of go to bed. And there's it's too steeped in nostalgia for me to ignore, and I do look forward to it every year. Usually there's a time where I get to it's kind of plot pointed throughout the calendar when I get to visit you guys there at the farm. But there's usually some time where I can visit around the holiday time. And with my friends, like I said, my friends are married, they're having kids, and now they're kind of plotted throughout the U.S. They're in North Carolina, they're in Tennessee, they're in Georgia, they're in Kentucky. They're about to be in Georgia. Another couple's moving to Georgia. Friendsgiving, when we can all get together, is the best time of the year for me. I look forward to it more than probably anything else. And we usually do that first weekend or two in December. And it just doesn't get much better than that. What knocks it down is that it's so damn cold. It would be hot.
Right. Oh yeah. And you're right. December is one of those wild card ones where, a dusting of snow is fine as long as it doesn't get too crazy or whatever. And it's bundled up. one of the nostalgic things that I'll throw in there about fall and December and all that. In when I was in college, and I was in college a while, as we know.
Yeah, they're called doctors.
Yeah, I went 6 years. But in the fall and in the winter, anybody who was going to, and anybody that was of that bent was going to get a boyfriend or girlfriend and pair up for the winter. I mean,
It's
bears.
cuffing season.
Yeah. I mean, it's like two bears finding each other in the dorm room's the cave, man.
Yeah.
And you know, to throw some later life nostalgia at you was that. And I remember in December, leading up to the 2 weeks or whatever, 2 or 3 weeks off between semesters, you know, if yeah, there was a lot of shaking going on. where he lived north of Chicago and you lived down in Kentucky or whatever the situation was, and they weren't going to see each other for 3 weeks, and you're like, whoa.
Sure.
But yeah, the winter times in college with a significant other is pretty sweet.
Absolutely.
December's one of those.
So we've got all of fall knocked out. We've got
Oh,
all
yeah.
of spring knocked out.
Well,
I have a guess for what number 7 is, or whatever number we're on. Yeah, we're on number 7. What do you got?
I think I do. Does your guess rhyme with Boone?
It was up there.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was surprised it doesn't rank higher, to be honest with you.
No, you know, I've got no issue with June.
It has no holidays,
friends.
so maybe
Yeah.
it's just kind of their month.
It is. It's a transition month between spring and the hot of July. You know, it's right in there. There's no holidays, like you said, and yeah. Well, there is now Juneteenth. We have that holiday now as of last week, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, it waited, I don't know, 400 years to get a holiday. So now we have a holiday.
Yeah, you're right.
But it didn't have a holiday for forever, and so yeah, it's one of those that it can be cooler. You know, it can be. You have some legitimate hot. We've had several 90s already this year, and the rain is starting to back off. The spring rains are starting to die down, and the summer holy cow hot hasn't kicked in yet. So June really is a good transition month, where you still have like last week was June, you know, here, and we had almost zero humidity. It was fantastic. So it was getting warm, but it felt great. You know, you could go from here to here without having to change your clothes when you got there because you sweated so much, you know. So that's nice. But yeah, it more or less is a transition month. Otherwise, yeah, I've got no major complaints. We say hi when we see each other, you know. You know. It's no big deal. We just ran in different circles in high school. It's nothing.
I was just about to say June is the month that you see them at the 10-year high school reunion and you never really talk to them in high school, but you're like, this guy's kind of cool. Why didn't we hang out more?
Where's June been, man?
Yeah. And then your life is just so different that you only get together maybe once or twice a year. And sometimes it's happenstance. It's random when you see him out and about. You're like, oh, there's June. What's up? Dude, why don't we hang out more? We always have a good time.
Yeah.
I have no bad things to say, but we will never make each other a priority. It's a great friendship.
That's right.
Well,
I'll tell you, my brother would say that this is one of their tornado. I don't get as excited about tornadoes as he does. Yeah. He's a chaser, of course. I've seen them. They're cool. It's pretty wild. I do not run in the house when I know they're coming. I am a staunch Midwesterner. I really am. I am a front porch going, yep, that's gonna take out the barn, you know. But So that it would certainly rank a lot higher with him. But to me, yeah, it's an inoffensive transition month, So
My 7 for you, I can't wait for you to not agree, is
I'm gonna lambaste you.
July.
What?
Yeah.
You indoor worker, you.
Yeah, man. I am blessed
You house cat.
/ cursed with AC in my car and in
Yeah.
my work life and home life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just really like July. It's hot, but it's not usually this super sticky hot. Maybe towards the end of the month, it starts to transition into that. I mean, it just depends what's going on. But there's a couple of things working in its favor. One, I am also not the fanatic that Tom is, but I do enjoy storms. Now, as much as I hate April rain, I love July storms. Something about summer storms in the Midwest is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can deal with the sauna that occurs afterwards outside. I get
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But when like the real black sky kind of, and there's like a green tinge to it, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be a rumbler.
Yeah.
Big fan. Again, I'm a movie guy, so I always enjoy the summer blockbusters. That's July.
Oh, yeah.
There's Independence Day weekend. We got the big holiday, July 4th. There's always, when I was a kid, that was always the Will Smith movie that came out. Whatever the superhero movie is going to come out, it's going to come out that month. Now there's 2 every month, it seems like. But again, there's just something about summertime. I remember, going over to Brad's house, my buddy's house, and we'd all get together and jump in the pool. And the hot wasn't as hot. And it's pure summer. It's the ice cream truck. There's, I don't know, something about July I really like that I know you don't.
It's not all bad, but it sure has more bad than good to me. But like you said, you're blessed with AC. I have AC everywhere, but on my job site and on my farm, and that's a huge part of my life. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can take the heat, but it's just, look at how I said that. I can take it. I can endure this month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, I can hack it. I can hack it while you're holding your guts in after a mortar shell blew up next to you. I can hack it. I'm not going to die. That's what July is like. July is the mortar shell, the mortar shell I endure. So.
Well, I can't wait to see what comes up later on your list. What do you have?
What do you looking down have? Toward the bottom, right in there?
What do we got? What do we got at number 8?
All right, number 8, and there's no way to put this higher because of weather and who I am now. Like I said, Christy and I don't have kids, so this one isn't as big a deal as it was when we were younger, and that's December. Because I'm telling you, from what I've observed, there's a reason I'm Uncle Phil. I have, a couple dozen nieces and nephews, and then all my friends have kids. They all call me Uncle Phil. So I'm Uncle Phil to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And man, being a kid in Christmas time and in the house by 6 p.m. when it gets dark and having that family time. You didn't have this as much as I did, but there were 3 channels. And there were no gaming consoles on any other TVs than that, and there's no way that your parents were going to let you do that instead of watch TV. There was none of the stuff you have now, and so pretty much come evening time in December, too cold to be outside and it's dark, you're inside with your family. And so that can either be a really good thing or a really horrible thing. And most of the time, it was a really good thing. And so it was, there's some nostalgia for you. Being around and seeing kids around Christmas time and all that. But all of the stuff I just said is nostalgia. So we don't have kids. So Christmas is like, yeah, it's all right. You know, I mean, I really, the thing I like is the shows. I record them every year. I watch them every year. I own several of them on DVD. The A Christmas Carol, A Christmas Story, Rudolph and Frosty and all those different ones.
Oh yeah.
And Grinch Stole Christmas. All of them. I watch every single one of them every single year. And it drives Christy a little nuts because she's like, "Oh, you're watching another one of those?" It's like, that'll win, but I'm going to watch all these every year,
Yeah.
And so yeah, and you're right. December is, if you're going to have a snowy month, it's the best one to have because you don't have the nasty, slushy, gross that you do in January and February.
Yeah.
You're going to get a dusting. You might get a couple inches, and then in a day or two, poof, it's gone. Your ground, I'm going to get a little technical on you. Your ground temperatures aren't cold enough to where it sticks bad yet. So even if it gets on the roads, it melts off quickly.
We're back to a meteorology podcast. This is good.
We are, man. Well, hey, there's no way to get around it in my life. I mean, there's no way. I should tell your audience that for whatever it was, 17 years, I snowplowed in the winter times for what I did. So it's hard not to have December, January, February come up and to know it's about to snow, to know I have to go into work. And now I don't do that anymore. So
right.
These last couple winters have been sweet. Like yeah, I work the same 8 hours as everybody else. I get home and look through the blinds. Oh, look, it's snowing out. There's no more packing a bag and packing a lunch for me. So that has made December a lot better. This still wasn't going to get higher than that on my list. So
that's fair. I think it's also up there with the month of May where there's just a vibe. I think generally, because there are people, I mean, this is going to be a very 90s, 2000s thing, but when the stores are packed during the holidays, it can be a little hectic or whatever. People are kind of short or whatever, but I feel like that's not the case anymore. People do most of shopping online. There's not that frenetic pace all the time, gift buying and all that stuff around the holidays. But that aside, I think there's a general vibe. I think people are just in a better mood. I think people are happier around Christmas time. It's just, again, it's a jollier season. And that's probably why it ranks so high for me, is I just enjoy that, when people can kind of, however much they can, put their differences aside and just be happy, and enjoy each other's company. I think there's a premium on that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So my number 8 for you, probably could rank a little higher. But my number 8 is November.
Okay.
I do look forward to the Thanksgiving there at the farm. We've kind of made that a tradition now for the past several years. That's a good time.
Oh yeah.
But there's just something about November. There's a couple of things working against it. One, it starts to get too cold. September, it's like, I might put on a long sleeve shirt, or there's a little chill in the air. And then October's like, oh no, you need a jacket. I mean, but the bonfire, it's great. November comes around and there's wet leaves on the ground and you got snot running out of your nose, and it's the uncomfortable cold. It's the type of it's the seasonal transition where you start to kind of your ear gets clogged up because of the sinus changes in the weather. I feel like I've just had too many miserable personal experiences in the month of November to like it that much. And one of the things I don't care for is daylight saving time. That's every November. We get we fall back, we gain the extra hour, and then it's dark at 5:15 p.m. Hey man, hate that for real. So now that I've kind of ranted a bit, I don't know why it would rank higher. It might actually rank lower in my estimation.
You know what? Now that I think about it,
You know what? I hate its guts. Thanksgiving be damned.
Screw you, December, damn you.
Uh,
November, sorry.
Yeah, no, November, again, Thanksgiving is cool. I do look forward to that, but that's way too much working against it to even let that sniff the top 7. I mean, come on.
Yeah. One good meal with nap to follow, with a nap chaser, doesn't make a whole month. And you're right. You go.
And I can do that anytime. You know, you just described probably a bunch of marches I've had. Who cares?
Right. You know, they sell turkeys year round. You know, all that stuff is for sale all the time. You can get it anytime. It's going to be weird, but you could do it.
They're like,
take a picture of your table with a huge spread, and people are like, oh, is this from last Thanksgiving? No, this is right now. I don't care if it's June. I'm doing this.
We thought you were getting all that food to donate away to the needy. No, you thought wrong.
No, you are incorrect.
I'm a terrible person, and I don't like November. Vote for me. Oh, there's another thing. Election campaign season.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of the very beginning of November. That kind of starts to die off.
Yeah.
But still,
well,
I'm
pretty good at tuning. Oh, hold on. I tried to avoid it.
There we go.
It was impossible. Little Patty, are you seeing this? Hi, baby. She would not let this happen. She's like, I need tension, Daddy.
Good girl.
Oh, baby girl.
She's gotten bigger.
Oh yeah, she's turned into a pudge packet, no doubt.
She's a cat now.
Yeah, she's no longer one of the girl kittens. She's the girl cat with her big pink belly.
So we've got October, November, September, May, April, March, June, December. Now we're finally starting to flip back and forth between the seasons. We're starting to break it up a little bit.
You're right. Yeah.
What do we have at number 9?
Number 9 is January.
Okay.
Yep.
That high.
Yep.
Let's talk about it.
As you know, I'll tell you the same thing I tell my wife every now and then when she'll ask something a little before it's time. Let it develop. It'll make sense when you see what my bottom rungs are and why.
Yeah, I'm starting to picture that actually. I guess this is as low as it can go, I guess, for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is odd because my months don't agree with my seasons. It makes no sense. I would have to sit down and really analyze it. If you had me rank my seasons, which you did recently, I would rank them one way. But when I rank the individual months, it mixes up more, you know. Sure. January. It's cold as shit, but it's not February. Yeah. All the farms are empty. The fields are barren. All the farmers are snuggled up in their houses. You don't see any movement, no action. It's too cold to do anything on your own farm. You can't be outside doing stuff for long periods of time because you'll freeze, so it really is you need to just be in your house sort of month. And man, I am an outdoor cat, as you know. Second we're done with this, I have stuff to do outside, even though it's hot, because at 3 p.m. I got rain coming. I mean, it's just, that's my life. That's my world. Sure. So, and so January, December can stop those things, and you can have some weekends where or after works where you can do a few things. January, no, you're not doing anything in January. It's just, nope. You better have it all your maintenance type stuff that you needed to do. I mean, there are some upsides. There's nothing to mow. There's nothing to weed eat. You don't have to do any of those things. There are 0 bugs. There's no more insects. True. I just got stung yesterday by a wasp right here on this earlobe, and Doesn't happen in January. So,
Well,
but
that's a ringing endorsement. Hey, January, you won't get stung by a wasp. Well,
right.
that's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, if January was a location and I had to try and get people to be a tourist to January, I'd have a real tough time. You know, sure. I would have to be saying what we're not what we are. So,
a travel agent for Cleveland. You're like, oh, whatever.
Right. Exactly.
It's really gray. You're gonna like it. It's the cigarette butt of months.
Oh crap, that's funny. It's really gray.
It's really gray. Like, you think they're gonna say great? It's really gray. Nope. Not great.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, January is only that high because what's under it is
that bad.
borderline unacceptable months.
That's fair. My number 9 for you, similar reasons, is April finally comes to play.
Oh, the I hate rain month.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I know I said July storms are cool. I do like them.
Yeah.
Warm rain, I'm a big fan. Like, yeah. I won't go play in it and splash in puddles because I'm not for. But
right.
Cold rain makes me very murdery. I do not like cold rain. And April is not warm yet. It's still cold. You got highs in the mid upper 30s some days. And then it rains every day. Yeah. And that gray just kind of hangs around. I don't know. Yeah, April, I can't think of one redeeming quality of the month other than it is that transition month. It's just like November. It's the other side of that coin where your ears get clogged up because the season's changing. You get sinus problems because this, you got headaches coming from all the different pressures of the weather patterns that are coming in the month of April. It's cold, it's warm, it's rainy, it's not, whatever. Yeah. And I can't tell you how much I hate April Fool's Day. It bothers me so much because I don't like pranks. I don't enjoy prank shows. Like the show Impractical Jokers I can't even watch it. It gives me secondhand embarrassment because I just can't stand pranks and doing that to somebody else.
I'm the same way.
And there's a petty reason why I hate April Fool's Day. It gives non-funny people this sense of self that they're clever. And
right.
I can't I can't abide that. Like the funny guy at the office, that's his day to shine. Hey man, you suck. Okay.
Tourist. You comedy tourist.
Exactly. He's a comedy vacationer and he chose to vacation in Tulsa because he's an idiot. April Fool's Day is trash. That's why April ranks so low for me. One of my all-time favorite sitcom characters, April Ludgate, huge fan, but the month, you suck.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on the pranks. We have a prank-free marriage, and because every now and then we'll meet somebody or talk to somebody who's like, oh, my husband did this, my wife did that, my kids did this to each other. I'm like, yeah, been together 13 years, zero pranks. We both really, because here's the thing, what a few that know me well know is I have an unlimited supply of anger, and it is held back by a wet paper napkin that I keep on the surface, and pranks blow that open. And I go, I don't go, I don't go for get the chuckle and then get the grease off my car door handle. I go 0 to, you're about to effing die. I'm about to kill you.
Yeah.
Because on the job site, it's really popular to put old, not new, but old used grease somewhere where somebody's going to grab, like door handles and things. Another one is in the summertime. If they leave their vehicle running with the AC on because it's 92 out, is switch it to heat. So when they get back to their vehicle, it's 92 outside, it's 130 inside. Oh yeah.
You know,
And
that
yeah,
is
so-
the external physical equivalent of, oh, I guess they'll just let anybody in here, huh?
right. Yeah.
That dude needs to go away
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, I've
Insane.
had to have, everybody at my work knows I'm a pretty affable, jokey guy, and every now and then, it's been years now, but every now and then some pranky type stuff will come up, and I just go to them one at a time and go, "Here's the deal. This isn't a warning. It's not a threat. I'm telling you, I don't take pranks the way you guys take pranks.
Yeah.
Anybody pranks any shit of mine, I'm going to come up to you swinging. I'm not even going to say your name. Have your fun. Do what you want. Leave me out of it." And no, I'm not kidding.
Do we
And
have
so
do we have a
far,
new autobiography title?
Do we?
Phil Carroll, Endless Supply of Anger.
I'm telling you, a lot of people have no idea that guy exists.
Yeah.
And let's keep it that way, shall we?
Sure. So let's go ahead and talk about, because, oh man, we're just going to get angrier as we finish this out. I can't
You're
wait.
right.
We got to temper it a bit.
The darkness is settling in.
How funny though would it be if like your least favorite was May and you're like, is this dude a serial killer? What's wrong? Like, really? Like, we're gonna have the same
May is the number 12?
Like,
what the
damn.
hell?
All right, stay away from this
Yeah.
guy. What do you got at number 10?
Number 10. Yeah, man. You're down this low for a reason. This is my worst cold month, and this is effing February. It's appropriate. It starts with an F. It's effing February.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, because it's chilly in November. It's cold in December. It's bitter and snowy in January. Man, trying to get through February without suicide or murder on your mind is difficult. Because one of those is probably going to happen.
Or both. You end up in the news.
Yeah, you get 4 weeks of gray and yeah, it's just terrible. Because here's the other thing: in December you get a dusting of snow, but there's when it's gone, it's gone. In February you get some snow. When it's gone, it's still everywhere. It's just on the side of the road. It's on the side of the sidewalk. It's still everywhere. It never melts. It never goes away.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty white anymore. It's that nasty, disgusting, dirty, like at the edge of those Kmart and Walmart parking lots where you're not sure what it is. It's so dirty.
You're like, is that a cookies and cream slushy? No, it's trash snow.
Exactly. No, it's garbage. That's what that is. It's garbage. And they can't take it anywhere. They can't get rid of it. So they just pile it up and wait. And I can't. February is one of those months. You endure it. You hold your nose. You keep your head down and you get through it. Just like prison. Just put my time in, boss.
Yeah.
Just put my time in.
My number.
Not a fan. How about you?
Right. Interesting. I kind of had a feeling that this is the way it was going to go. My number 10 for you is August.
Really? That high?
Yeah. No, I know. Again, you're an outdoor worker. I'm an indoor cat. Yeah. I don't like when something's over, I want it to be over. All right. Like, cake can be great cake, but if you have one bite too many and it gives you a stomach ache, it ruins the whole experience.
Yeah.
I want summer to be done. I want summer to be done. Not hang around and be super hot and muggy and hazy and miserable outside. Like, you take a shower. The dog days of summer. You take a shower, you put on fresh new clothes, you go outside, and you immediately feel like a stripper at the end of the shift. Just so disgusting. Immediately outside. Since this is a meteorology podcast, we're gonna The air that you wear.
That's right. The air that you wear.
Can't stand it. August
Yeah.
is my number 10.
I can't possibly even imagine a way to agree more with you. August is like if you lived inside a stomach. just, just hot and wet, and just, God, you want to get out of here. Oh yeah,
Yeah. So,
it's just terrible.
So do you want to just combine your 11 and 12
Yep.
and then
please.
my 11 and 12? Because that's kind of what
Yeah.
we're going. Now, I have a reason for why I have my pick as low as I do, I think.
Actually, no, I can divide mine. There is a reason why 11 isn't 12 and 12 is where it is.
Okay, let's talk about that then. What's your 11 and what's your 12?
Well, my 11 is July, my 12 is August.
Okay.
Of course, you know. And the only reason that July and August aren't just one 60-day month to me is because July has 4th of July, and it's early enough in the summer. You're still excited about boating and beaches and friends' pool parties.
Yeah.
You know, you're still excited about that kind of stuff. In August, when you do those things, you're escaping the heat. In July, it's just like, this is a fun thing we can do besides being with friends. In the August, it's the focus. If you just don't want to be above water because that's where all the pain is. So when you go to a pool party at your friend's house in July, or you go to the beach or whatever, you're all hanging out and you visit the water.
Yeah.
In August, you're all in there talking to each other like, hey, so how are your kids? You know?
Yeah.
It's all about not being up here where it's 102. So yeah, they basically are the same to me. But yeah, August is just the Satan's armpit of months, man.
And another thing going against it is August school is back in session. So there's no nostalgia attached to it. All the memories you have is like, oh, I have to go back to school and it's still miserable outside.
Oh, right. Yeah. And it's late enough in the season where every single puddle of water is a mosquito breeding ground. So
yeah.
Mosquitoes are bad. It's hot, so the wasps are at their angriest. Every insect is full bore. The gnats, the flies, the mosquitoes, all those. The humidity is the highest it's going to be all year. And for a chubby guy, man, your enemy is moisture.
True.
You know?
And I know this doesn't affect you a whole lot, but there's the sports mirage of preseason football. You think football's back? No. It's preseason. It's terrible.
It's a lie.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not real.
Oh
yeah, we need to talk about that, by the way.
Okay.
This is my year of firsts, you know.
Oh, we going to a preseason game?
I hope.
All right. We'll set something up.
I was gonna say, you're back in town now. Florida boys back up north.
Yeah, we can make something happen.
Yeah.
After I just talked about how terrible it is. Yeah, let's go.
Oh no, I want to go to a regular game. I want to go to Lucas Oil. But,
gotcha. Well, my 11 and 12 for you are pretty similar. My 11 is January. My 12 is February.
Yeah, there you go.
And the reason is very weather. You know, it's super duper cold. It's gray. I have a really tough time with seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder. And that's when I listen to my best music. That's when I break out the blues and I break out the Alice in Chains. You know, I enjoy the music that time of year because I'm in that headspace. But yeah, man, it's just such a bummer outside. And February ranks lower last because, hey, man, how do you say your name? Is it February? Like, let's change that. Can we not have a month where nobody knows how to say it right? Like February. That's always pissed me off. Like we settled, we could have named them anything. And we went with something that's hard to pronounce. Stupid, first of all. And again, it's the endurance thing of, God, I just want it to be over. It's gray. It's cold. I think I told you this when I was I think I texted you this when we were talking about it. I hate that I can't just jump in my car and go. No, February, you have to sit there and let it run because it's 11 degrees outside and it's so bone chilling cold outside. It's gray. It's the dirty snow. And what else? This annoyed me. So I was going back and forth on what should be worse, January or February.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to some friends. I kind of put a feeler out there on social media too. I said, what's your favorite month? What's your least favorite month and why? Because I kind of want to factor in maybe something I haven't thought of.
Sure.
And a lot of people were saying February. And then a lot of people were like, well, February's not that bad. It's short. It's like, there's only 28 days. Or I was like, okay,
Whatever,
so if I lose a leg in an automobile accident, you're like, but you got both your arms and your other leg.
Come on, man.
You only lost one leg. Okay, I don't care that it's the shortest month. It's the worst month.
Right.
And you know how many
There's only
times
2 less days. Whatever.
this isn't as prevalent now. Again, a lot of my friends have moved in proximity. They've just moved further away. But when I was younger, like even in college, you don't think about things. So, you try to make plans with a friend. You don't think about Valentine's Day. As a single dude, it's not at all in your mind. So you go to make plans. I can't. It's the Valentine's Day. I dinner plans with the girl. The amount of times I forgot that Valentine's Day was a thing and tried to make plans.
Right.
And I had a friend sheepishly tell me like, dude, it's Valentine's Day. Do you not realize? I was so annoyed by that. And now, again, I don't really think about it and I'm a little more aware of it. But that annoyed me when I was younger. It was like, it's just a day, man. Like, why can't we go to the game? Like, seriously? Or if there's a concert to go to.
Right.
But yeah, the bone chilling cold, the gray, the endless, perpetual, never ending winter. Hate it.
It's like walking to Mordor.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's a lake, here's a spoon, empty that. That's what February feels like, except you're permanently uncomfortable. And yeah, you have to go out to your vehicle 2 or 3 times unless you have a garage. Start it and uncover it, and then you can go back and get in and leave. So yeah. So now your schedule is what it is. Get all the snow off of it.
Yeah.
And ice and yeah. You're one of the previous months you were talking about the worst weather is 33-degree rain.
Oh,
like if it was warm rain, cool, fine, no big deal. You just walk through it. If it's a little colder, it would have been snow, and you just go and you're done.
Yeah.
No, this is 33 degrees. It's just barely water. It's that cold. And it goes and it sinks in. And it's just, oh man, I hate pissy rain.
And I feel like that happens at the end of
buddy.
That happens at the end of February. I swear.
End of February has that pissy 33-degree rain. And you're like, God damn it, last month this would have just been snow.
Yeah.
Damn you.
When we were discussing doing this, we couldn't decide if we wanted to start with number 12 and work our way up to number 1, or if we should start at number 1 and work our way down to 12. And now that we've done it, I'm mad that we didn't do it the other way, because now I feel like I've ruined my day. Now I've thought about August and January, February, and I'm like, nah, you know what? Get away from me. I don't want to talk to anybody.
It would have been, I'll tell you though, you need to suffer for your art, because I think us
calling this art.
Man, I was trying to throw you a bone.
Appreciate it.
Whatever this is. Yeah. The delving into the hate was way more fun than picture us starting with the hate and then us getting cheerier for 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's way worse. That's way worse.
And ending with a fucking dance tune or something. Da 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 da. I love October.
All right, man. We did it. That's the 12 months of the year. I don't think any of mine are in the right number. Yeah, none of yours are.
What were your first 3?
September, May, October.
September, May, October. Okay. Yeah, we did not match up a single month. We got close. We were off by one in June and July, but we didn't match up with any of them.
Now,
And yeah, it turns into a meteorological thing, you know, because weather, do what you want, weather affects your life, even if, like you say, you're an indoor cat and I'm an outdoor. And so it comes and gets you no matter what, you know.
well, normally I'll say, hey, do you have any podcasts or tour dates that you'd like to plug? Where can people find you? You know, so hey, Phil, where can people find you?
Well, you can't. You can look me up at Uncle Phil at suckit.net. There's not going to be anything there. I don't know you people. Chances are very good. I'd only like about a third of you. So no, you watching this video, that's all you get. That's all you get.
So they can't find you, you'll find them. That's your goal.
Yeah, if I need you, I'll look you up. How's that? This goes one way. This year goes one way, not both ways.
All right, man. Well, this was a lot of fun. I know we're gonna have you on for another episode. We'll talk to you soon, man.
I'm good.